In the next few minutes, you could learn some information that might save you from needless personal suffering. At least, that's our hope. You may not need any surgery now, but if the time comes when you do, you should know how to handle that situation so you're able to make the best decision possible. It's natural to be concerned when faced with the possible need for surgery. Surgery can involve pain, risks, inconvenience, and considerable expense. Parkside's counseling service will give you information to help you understand your situation better.
Eric? Is that you, Eric? Eric? No! Ever been frightened? Have you known fear? Most of us have, and most of us have a pretty clearly defined list of what makes us afraid. What makes you afraid? Stephen King, the famous horror story novelist, says that fear has a shape. And the shape of fear is a body under a sheet, our own death. But chilling as it is, that might not be true, because according to recent surveys, the shape of fear is a podium. Public speaking is the #1 fear, especially among business people.
You mean we should talk to them in the same way we talk to each other?
Yeah, something like that. I'm saying you should concentrate on feeling relaxed and confident. All too often, salespeople see a group of customers as a firing squad. Or they'll see a group as just waiting for them to make a mistake. But let's be realistic. Our customers are people looking for solutions to their problems. Try to see yourself in a positive relationship to the group. Focus on them, not you. When we focus inward, we sometimes fail to notice what's really going on around us.
So you're saying that we should try to feel relaxed and comfortable. Maybe we're not so much orators as we are group members, right?
That's right on target.
And in order to do that, we should visualize ourselves in a positive, friendly relationship with the group, instead of worrying ourselves into nervousness about really silly fears.
Right, and there's a little more to that as well. It involves the 4th step in overcoming stage fright. See, the key point here is to work on yourself. Convince yourself of the value of what you have to say. You know, it's been shown many times that even the shyest person will speak up for what he or she really believes in.
You mean just pump ourselves up about a product?
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have engine ignition. Have start of the Centaur stage.
The launch. It's a culmination of a lot of preparation. You can't just wing it to the moon and back. Mankind's achievements in space are based on years of planning, training, and practice. And despite the persistent myths, you really can't just wing it in a presentation either. Actually, preparation means managing your presentation from the start, when you first decide a group sale is advantageous. And that's the opposite of winging it. Let's rejoin our group of salespeople as they explore the process and benefits of preparation.
I really got a lot out of this.
You did?
Yeah, I mean, I
Good.
think it's going to change the whole way I approach my groups.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, how about you, Ann?
Oh, I felt very comfortable
Good.
with it. How did you do on the test, Richard?
Well, I did very well.
Okay, Dave. What did you say the second one was?
Grooming and posture. Grooming, of course, is your manner of dress and your neatness. And I'm sure I don't have to talk much about that. You guys are pros and know how much that influences customers. In fact, just last week I had a visitor here comment on how professional all of us looked. So people notice even when and where we least expect it.
What about posture? Surely that's no big thing.
No? Well, let's take a look at this video and we'll see if it has much impact.
Well, yeah, we got forms for you. We got all kinds of forms. We got speedy mailers and speedy sets. We got register forms and computer forms. We got tab cards and postcards. We got government forms and stock forms. We got folded books and manifold books. We got binders and speedy set holders. We got detachers and decolators, and we got custom forms and standard forms, and we got basic and special standard. We got statements and ledgers. We got restaurant checks and garage repair orders. Got speedy ply and speedy flow. We got speedy web and speedy label. We got labels and envelopes. We got speedy carrier and keen edge. And
well, did that have much impact?
Okay. It had plenty of impact, but all the wrong kind. Not only was what he said just ludicrous, but so was his posture. He was all over that table, but he had his hands in his pockets the whole time. He must have been an acrobat.
Okay, that's very helpful, but you also mentioned using audio-visual aids. Do you mean things like movies and slides? Because we don't use those very often. Most of the time we use prepared charts or flip charts.
Well, aren't those visual aids?
Sure.
And what about brochures and sample forms?
Okay, those too.
And then there are proposal letters and other handouts?
Oh, proposal letters. I suppose you're right, but I never thought of them as audio-visual aids.
Well, actually, Kate, any audio, visual, or tactile media that you use to support or reinforce the ideas you're presenting can be considered an aid. And that statement also tells you something about how you can select the proper aid.
How's that, Dave?
Well, before a presentation, as you think about what to use, always ask what the psychological and sensory effects will be.
Psychological effects?
Well, sure, Richard. Poorly designed, confusing, or complicated support media can be frustrating, can get in the way of your message. So you need to consider that.
Yeah, I get it. Basically, you're saying that the medium we use to support our idea should be clear and simple.
Right. Whatever it is, it shouldn't dominate the idea it's supposed to support.
And I suppose you'd have to know how to use the thing. I mean, nothing sillier than some speaker fumbling around with some piece of equipment.
That's right, Richard. And even prepared charts can involve techniques that make your presentation more professional and effective. And to help you out here, we have some guidelines on the use of audio-visual aids. There you go. There are sections there on brochures, handouts, prepared charts, flip charts, and even electronic media such as slides, movies, and video.
Great! This will be a good reference in case I need to use some of these things.
And that brings us to the next self-check quiz, so why don't we just take a few minutes for that, okay?
Please turn to page 4-8 of the module on making the presentation.